5th episode of my show. All of our appearances have been canceled. I'm Marilisa Beatty. I'm Mrs. Phoenixville, PA, America 2020. And I'm here with Heather Husband, Mrs. Westmorland County, PA, America 2020. How are you, Heather?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Marilisa.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you, and I'm glad to see you and talk to you in these kind of crazy times. So, how are you guys holding up?
We're holding up well. We're holding up well. The house
Good.
is still standing and everybody's alive.
Yes, that right now is kind of the top level of achievement. So congratulations to you and your family. All right, Heather. So if you've seen this show before, you know it's an interview show and we'll go through some kind of lighthearted, maybe kooky questions. But before we do that, I really want to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself and tell everybody, you know, what you're up to and what your platform is in terms of pageantry. So take it away.
Hi, my name is Heather Husband. I am Mrs. Westmoreland County, PA 2020, and my platform this year is literacy awareness. So I call it Littles Learning Literacy. And what that is for me is taking a one-on-one approach at our kitchen table and just reading to children. It's pretty easy to start off with your own children. And what I've seen in our 4-year-old is he can't sit still, but what he can sit still is while he's eating. So he'll get up around 7:30, 8 o'clock. And while he's eating breakfast, I'll read out of our 5-minute storybook to him, and he loves it. So taking that approach, and then couple that with I am a graduate student at Liberty University Online. They are the #1 online school, so they're very well organized and their programs are very well organized. I'm going for a Master's of Art in Teaching, Elementary Education. So I am becoming more aware of the importance of reading and the necessity of reading. Reading isn't just picking up a book and reading it. It's the word problems that you're going to encounter on your state tests. It's the nutrition label that you need to not only look at, but comprehend what you're reading so that you can make that salad or you can understand your macros or your micros. So then when you look at people like Dolly Parton, Barbara Bush. Dolly Parton has it's called the Imagination Library, who she had assistance with her father, who he was unable to read or write. But her Imagination Library is free to any child in the United States, 5 and under, and it gives them a head start to reading into kindergarten. So my program or my initiative, I'd like to take what I'm doing in my kitchen table and just spread it across the state of Pennsylvania, because at any level we can all read more.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Thank you for your efforts there. That is very nice. And before I forget, I want to mention something to you related to this once we hang up, just on a personal note. All right, Heather, well, thank you for that. So let's get into the interview. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and they fall across a few different categories. So the first category is called pageanty things. And these are questions that are pageant related, but they're not competition style questions. So it's not something like an onstage question or something you'd be asked in the interview room per se. The next is called Hey You. And these are questions that just have to do with you and your opinions. The next category is a guest question. And this used to be the category called Brian Wants to Know. Brian's my husband, but he ran out of ideas. So now this is just the guest category. And then we have one just silliness question. This really doesn't have to do with anything, just kind of see what you think. And then finally, we finish with a quick fire round. How do you feel about that?
I love it.
All right, let's do it then. All right, Heather. So you've been involved in pageantry in a few years now, right?
Yes, this is my 3rd year.
Okay, all right, awesome. What would you say is the best advice you've received so far relative to pageantry?
The best advice I received was from Austin Ride. I paid to have makeup lessons taught to me, which I desperately needed. Thank you, Austin. His mother was involved in the Mrs. America system as well, and he grew up with that background and also has sisters. So I think it was inevitable that he would be involved in pageantry. But his advice was pageants are supposed to highlight what you're already doing, not the other way around.
Mm.
So with that, it just kind of takes the pressure off of, oh, what am I wearing? What am I doing? Am I doing enough? Yeah, you are. You are.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it as the icing and the sprinkles and the glitter on your cake.
Yeah. And to that end, this being your third year, do you feel like, have you made changes in your approach from your first year till now? Have you evolved in any way in that sense?
Definitely. I think in all aspects, I've evolved just from my look, letting my hair grow out, from, you know, you think you don't have it the first year, especially when I never competed.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh, she must know something I don't. Let's see what she does. Oh no, that person's doing it better today. Let's get what the makeup brand she has. And
Right.
really, it's just you have to tailor it to you. And you might be so different that nobody else is going to have the style of dress that you're wearing. But that's okay because it's for you. So I think in that, just in pageantry and in life, I've learned to just calm down and marinate in it.
Yeah,
Enjoy it. Good
that's
way.
awesome. That's so good.
Yeah.
And I know you, or I think you follow Lou Sierra as well. And I feel like one thing Lou always says is just kind of be yourself and don't really even look at anyone else because you're not going to outdo that person in their thing. And
Yes.
that person would never outdo you in your thing. So, comparing yourself to somebody else or seeing something you like that someone else does and trying to do that really has no purpose because only you can do you and you're going to do you better than anybody else is. So, very good advice, Heather. Thank you. Um, all right. So we compete in the Mrs. America pageant system, but as we know, there are many different systems and they all kind of have different rules, different categories, different ways they weight their areas of competition. So if you were going to design your own Mrs. Pageant, what would it be like?
Well, that's a good one. I think it would be similar because I like to dress up. So there would be some kind of gown so you can have time to put on your makeup and get your hair done and just relax.
Mm.
I think we should have a 15-minute bake-off and definitely just maybe not for many points because I'm not very good in the kitchen, but maybe like we're doing now. You have three things in the refrigerator, and what dish do you make out of it?
Well,
Like
I
I,
would certainly lose. I don't think I would sign up for that pageant. I feel like I have no chance. Very good. Are there any areas that you would not want to include in your pageant?
I don't think so. I think every human person should be able to have an opinion and be able to support their opinion. So interview is a very good one. And
Mm.
being that you're out in the public representing somebody's brand, you should weight that more heavily. I enjoy swimsuit just because we all work hard at achieving the body that we have, and we should celebrate everybody's body. I enjoy swimsuit. Nowadays, it's a one piece, but that's okay. That's what I'm comfortable in. I like seeing other people's two pieces because they worked hard too.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I definitely would include everything that we have. Although, I mean, I think we need something to keep it lighthearted. Costume's nice, but I don't know. I like silly too. Maybe improv, maybe a round of
Oh my
improv.
God. I like your pageant seems like a lot of fun. I like that.
Thank you.
All right. So the third question is always my favorite question, and this is called my favorite picture of you. And this is when I go through your social media account and I pick out my favorite picture of you and I show it to you and I say why I like it. But then the real question is, what was going on at this time? What's this picture all about? So I had a lot to choose from, but I really love this one. And I want to hear about what's going on there. But first, I want to say I choose this one because look at the definition in those biceps and shoulders. You are fierce and you are serving fierce muscular queen. And look at how hot these tights are. So what's going on in this picture?
So that was last year, and shout out to Mrs. DC 2018, Leah Rushalou. I'm sorry, Leah, I'm butchering your last name. I apologize. But she had a picture of her working out in the gym, and I was just inspired because at that point, my very first year, I didn't work out very much, if at all. And with that, she's been a vegetarian for a while. I believe she's vegan as well. And I was just inspired to put more effort into it and just rock it. And the last year and this year I'm reusing it, but I hired Aubrey Work from Aubrey Work Fitness. And with that workout plan, it was tailored to me. So like I said before, you have to find something that you enjoy and that is tailored to you. And man, it worked. I saw the staff at LA Fitness 6 out of 7 days a week, and had one of the trainers just take that picture because they knew that I was in a pageant. It wasn't just, hey, random person, can you please take my
Well, I work out in this crown every day.
Yes. So it was
that.
nice.
That's awesome. And I did see pictures of you in the pageant last year, and I saw some pictures from the swim category, and you looked amazing. So the hard work certainly paid off. All right. So let's go now to the category called Hey You. And so these are just some questions all about you. So this question was inspired by the fact that my husband, Brian, has never in his life even tasted a Dorito. So a really common thing. He's never eaten a Dorito. His sister has never even sipped a Coke or a Pepsi ever in her life. So my question for you is, are there any completely normal and common things that you've never tried or tasted?
I can't say that I happened. I had a pretty normal childhood. I grew up with a basement pop in Pittsburgh, to experience that. Oreos. I don't think I have. I think
So, and it doesn't necessarily have to be food. So for example, I never skied until I was maybe 33 or 34. So I feel like a lot of people ski, but that was just one life experience I didn't have. And I finally did, and I stayed on the bunny hill. I screamed down the hill every time, and I fell every time. So I probably should have started that activity earlier in life, but it was just something super common I'd never done. So with that in mind, are there any activities you feel like are common and you've never tried?
There's one thing that I would like to try. I don't know if it's, well, in some circles it's not common. I want to skydive.
Yeah.
Like I did rappelling. I rappelled off of the Oliver building in downtown Pittsburgh with our clubhouse. It was a fundraiser, and it was just really, if you've never done it, do it. Like the adrenaline rush. And with this one, it was for a cause. So when you are going towards the bottom, there are people you don't even know cheering for you. Like, you did it, way to go.
That's a good cause.
So I'd love that.
Well, put skydive on your bucket list for when everything reopens again. Oh, okay. What would you say is surprising about you?
I don't know. It's my normal. I have been a full-time stay-at-home mom for over a decade. I don't know if that's surprising or not. And I think that's a luxury. I think it's uncommon where we live. In some places it's the norm, but it's just a sacrifice that we decided to make for our children. And I think it's paying off. There are days that, you know, you look at your kid and you're like, sweetheart, why are you licking the window?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Um, so when I was a kid, I really, really loved movies. I mean, I still really love movies now, but when I was a kid, I would get like so into a movie that I felt like I wanted to live in it. I wanted to have that as my reality. So if you could live in any movie, what would it be?
Anne of Green Gables. I
Oh,
Are you
tell us.
familiar? So the main character, Anne, with an E, um, she is a redhead and she is orphaned. So she finds a family, or a family finds her, and it's an older brother and sister, and they have a farm in Canada, and they wanted a boy. And like when they see her and they bring her home, Marilla is the sister. She says to her brother, "But I wanted a boy." And Anne like breaks down. And throughout the series, I mean, you go from her as a probably 12-year-old all the way through, I mean, it's long. It was on PBS. All the way through like her getting married to her sweetheart in school, and there are just themes of women, female empowerment. She goes to college and becomes a teacher, which is unusual because it's set in the early 1900s. Um, she teaches at a college. It's sweet and it's innocent, and it was relatable because I grew up as a redhead, so
Yes.
it's cool.
All right. Very nice. Okay, so now we're going to the guest question. And this question comes from Paul from Boulder. Hi, Paul from Boulder. He was also the guest question in the Mrs. Wyoming episode, so I guess he's going to end up just having his own category. But Paul from Boulder wants to know if you were a child right now in this era, we'll go ahead and say pre-COVID, but if you were a child now, what do you think would be your favorite thing to do?
Wow, okay. I would have to say traveling. I We travel with our children as much as we can, and I think that travel has so many variables, like if the plane's on time, what hotel you get to experience next, time changes. I think traveling for vacation would be nice.
Yeah, very nice. Okay. Ah, so this is the category called just silliness. So if we assume in terms of the animal kingdom that a cat is kind of the opposite of a dog, and maybe a bird is kind of the opposite of a fish, what's the opposite of a koala?
A bearded dragon.
Okay, I have to agree that's correct. What makes you say that?
Fur as opposed to scales, and like koalas, I'd want to snuggle, but I wouldn't necessarily want to snuggle a bearded dragon.
Yeah, okay. That's a really good answer. I honestly would have no idea how to answer that question, so good job. All right, Heather, so you survived so far. Now we're in the quick fire portion. And so here we have just 5 quick questions related to the overall category. And the category here changes for every guest I have. Um, so for you, I kind of went with the theme of yearbook superlatives. So one very unfortunate thing we know that's happening right now with all the closures is that high school kids and college kids aren't getting to experience their senior year. They don't get to go to prom. They're not going to get to have a graduation the way they typically would. Um, so I went with a yearbook, but we're going to use celebrities in this case. So I'm going to name a superlative, and I want you to tell me what celebrity comes to mind that would win that superlative in the yearbook. Okay? Best dressed.
Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, good one, good one. Do you have a male you would say would be best dressed as well?
The male actor that played on Suits. I forget his name.
Yes. I'll have to look that up after this. Everybody Google it and look at how well he's dressed. All right. Cutest couple.
Ooh, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. I love them. Uh, biggest flirt.
Matthew McConaughey.
All right, all right, all right. I love Matthew McConaughey. He's like really got his little shtick down and he does it well. Best smile.
Julia Roberts.
Good one, good one. And here's the last one. Most likely to become the president.
I mean, it's already taken Donald Trump.
Well, in the future.
In the future? Ooh. Gosh. That's a good one. Oh man, who would I want to see president? Talk show host. Let's go with David Spade. I mean, why not?
Interesting. So why David Spade?
I started watching him on Instagram. He recently just got a show on Comedy Central, and now he's doing it from his house because he's in quarantine. And he's just surprising. Like he has a sweet side, and he has a daughter who is a year older than our daughter. She's 11.
Okay.
So I think he has like, although unpredictable, he's predictably unpredictable. And then, well, he had a really cute aspect on his show where his mom would weigh in. So like when she would be there, he toned it down and like didn't use the innuendos and kind of tamed it down because he knew she'd be like, "No, David," even though she's probably in her 80s.
Yeah, I could see that. I can
So
see that.
he can be appropriate.
Okay, David. I'm picturing David Spade like presidential campaign posters right now, and it's pretty funny. But I'm also thinking David Spade and Tommy Boy, like little 90s David Spade. But all right, I love that. Good. Well, Heather, you've answered all of my questions. So my last question to you is this: is there anything you want to say to the people before we go?
Definitely continue to check out Marilisa because I have been watching her shows and they are so well thought out. You are definitely someone that I can't wait to spend more time with and grow into a friendship with together. So, and apply for Mrs. PA or your local state pageant. I'd love to see you.
For sure, for sure. Mrs. or Miss 4 is an up and coming category. And we need some more sisters there as well. So thank you so much, Heather. I look forward to seeing you once we're able to see each other in person. So thank you again. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you.